Alright, welcome back to Dinopedia, entry number 31, the Megalodon. Let's get into it. Remember to like if you like and subscribe down below for more videos. Alright, so looking at Ark Survival, the schedule, we're going to be looking at the Ark Survival Ascended and Evolved Megalodon, tips and tricks for the Meg, potential add-ons for Ark Survival Ascended and maybe Ark Survival 2, and reworking for my new game, Dino World. Let's get into it. So of course the Megalodon in Ark Survival Ascended is very small compared to its real life counterpart. We'll be fixing that in my game, but for now it is an animal, so it goes in the kingdom of Animalia. It is in the group fish because sharks are fish, and its description is a mega-sized shark. Traits in Ark: it is very aggressive and sensitive. It has the largest aggro range when the player is in the water of any aquatic creature, and can swim in very shallow waters as seen here. It can basically swim right up to the beach but not go on the beach. So please be very careful when escaping a Megalodon, because just because you can walk in the water doesn't mean the Meg can't still come up and kill you. So the Ark stats for the Megalodon are very small. It has a health of 600, stamina 320, oxygen 150, reverse. What this means is that its oxygen bar is reverse. It has infinite oxygen underwater, meaning it can stay underwater infinitely, but that oxygen 150 means that if it ever comes on land, it can survive on land for a limited time with its 150 oxygen bar. So it can stay above water for a limited time, but it can stay below water forever. Its food and water are 2,000 each, its weight is 250, its melee is 40 base damage, and its swimming speed is 4 meters per second, making it faster than a player, so watch out, with a torpor of 800. So of course, utilities and roles for the Megalodon: obviously Super 8, with one of the highest pack buffs in the game. A Meg pack of 8 total sharks can access an extreme buff to its bleeding attacks and take on ocean giants like the Tuso and the Mosasaur with no problem. The Tuso is the giant squid. I just can't say the full name because I'm not academically gifted enough to try and pronounce that. It's also a caving machine. Farming ocean caves and dungeons with max level Meg pack of 8 will turn fear into fortune with easy wins with little injury, because a Meg pack of 8 total sharks with a Super 8 pack buff is extremely devastating for any ocean cave, regardless of what's in it. Some tricks as well: blood in the water. Using its size and bleeding attack, it can farm aquatic creatures easily and is able to swim faster than most aquatics. I believe there's only like two fully aquatic creatures: the Diplocalus, the newt, and the Ichilo, the dolphin, that can swim faster than it. So it is kind of, I think it's like the third or fourth fastest. There may be one I'm not thinking of. I think maybe the Nautilus may be faster as well, but it's definitely in the top 5 fastest creatures in the water, so definitely use it if you're hunting down creatures and farming them for loot. And of course, aquatic hunt: treat a pack of Megs like a pack of oversized raptors with their speed and heavy attack damage to farm resources, and take down almost all aquatic creatures with speed, ease, and protection. So just treat them like a bigger pack of raptors. So of course, some potential add-ons to Ark Ascended: obviously the breach attack. Being sharks, normal sharks today are able to launch out of the water on surface level threats, like if there's a raft, they can launch out of the water, breach, take the raft up with them, and then dive downward into the water. I think that'd be pretty cool and give a little bit of an animation to the game. And also, it'll make it kind of cool to see them, like, you know, there's like a dolphin above the sea, swimming at the surface of the sea. Meg comes down from below, takes it, jumps out of the water with it in its mouth, and then puts it back down into the water. I think that'd be pretty cool. Also, Shipwrecker. Wild Megs target boats similar to the leads, the giant whale fish, except they bite into boats consistently, similar to Jaws, where they just bite into the orca over time. And tame Megs deal increased damage to boats and sea structures, so they are a shipwrecking force. So of course, looking at the Ark Survival Evolved Meg versus the Jurassic World Meg. The Jurassic World Meg is bigger, so I give it the edge. The Ark one looks better, but the Jurassic World one is much bigger and actually makes the Meg look actually scary a little bit. So even though the Ark one does look a little bit better, I do think the Jurassic World one wins, basically because it looks just like a gigantic great white, but it has some custom texture on it, like those little spots there, and it is much, much bigger than the Ark one. Similarly, if you look at the Dino World Meg, ours is huge. It's almost times 10 bigger in size, and its stats will reflect that. And Even though ours looks kind of more scary, the Arc one does have a better texture, but I still give us the edge because ours is so much bigger than the Arc one is. And the Arc one is very small compared to the IRL Meg size. So the Meg in Dino World obviously is not the Megalodon. We shortened down its name to the natural substitution of the Meg's name, the Meg. There's the normal Meg, which is the wild and tame dino variant, and the mutated Meg, which is the product of 2 tame Megs breeding, plus a gene computer. Of course, the Meg in Dino World is an animal, so Kingdom Animalia group of fish, which includes sharks, eels, and marlins. It is a shark, obviously, and the family. It is a prehistoric shark, similar to the Hero scorpion and the Greenland shark. The Greenland shark, even though it is a prehistoric shark, meaning that it was swimming even during the days of the dinosaurs, still lives today. So even though the Meg maybe doesn't exist today anymore, maybe have gone extinct, the Greenland shark still exists today, and you can still find them in the water. Alright, so the Meg in Dino World, as you can see, compared to the Ark survival stats, we have times 5 pretty much everything because we have made the shark like times 5 bigger, so its stats are naturally going to increase by 5-fold. So health is 3,000 instead of 600, stamina is 1,500 instead of 320. It does not have a reverse oxygen bar because the Meg is way too big to swim in shallow water, so of course it will not be swimming in shallow water and does not need a reverse oxygen bar. But it does have infinite oxygen underwater as usual. Food and water, 10k each instead of 2,000 each. Weight 1,500 instead of 250. Melee 200 base instead of 40 base. Swimming speed of 10 meters per second instead of 4 meters per second. Had to make it bigger because it's a bigger creature, so it has to swim somewhat faster. And torpor is 4,000 instead of 800 with a fortitude of 3. So times 5 on most stats. Except for swimming speed, and of course fortitude is our own custom stat. So looking at additional traits of the Meg, a breach attack, being sharks, they can launch out of the water, similar to the additional attacks, the additional traits we gave to Ark Survival Ascended. Shipwrecker, of course, does extra damage to the rafts and attacks rafts consistently. 3, Bloodstalker, bleeding or attacking another creature in the water will attract sharks if any are in sight. So let's say you are attacking a Balosaur. You attack it, sharks will immediately swarm onto the injured creature, killing the creature, of course, that's bleeding, but also if the Balosaur attacks you, then you'll be bleeding and the sharks will also target you. So anything that bleeds underwater will attract sharks, so just be careful about that. And then its combat ability, Ripsaw Jaws, deals double damage, ripping into enemies with vicious nature, disabling certain abilities and crippling them as it's tearing out chunks of flesh. This makes their attack more devastating for a limited time with a 30-second cooldown, of course. And of course, the final thing, we're going to look at Dino World spawns for Europa. Obviously, blue guaranteed, green very likely, yellow feudal likely, orange for rare, red for very rare, and purple for dead. Obviously, because it's a shark, it will be found in the ocean, and even though it won't be in somewhat deep water, it'll still be in like medium water, so maybe you'll find one to the surface, but most likely you'll have to dive somewhat deeper to find them. But of course, you will find few to likely Megs swimming around in the ocean of Europa. Alright, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe down below if you really like it. Comment down below if you have your thoughts, if you have any criticisms, critiques, or just want to improve my content a little bit more by giving me tips. I always appreciate it. That's cool. Everyone have a blessed day as always, and of course, toodaloo.